Welcome back, guys, to the Karen Summer Show. We're going to talk about more about last week's win. Kurt Busch put himself back in the chase for the playoffs of 16-round playoff that starts in 3 weeks. 4 weeks, I would say. And also, we're going to talk about the SRX series that happened in Knoxville, the last race of that season, 6-week season they saw. And also, we're going to talk about Chase Elliott's win that night, last night. And getting close to that, we'll talk about today's race as well on the Carousel Show.
Final corners here in Nashville. Elliott hanging on over Stewart. Checkered flag is out, and Chase Elliott will win tonight in Music City.
1 lap to go, presented by Credit One Bank for Aric Almrola down into turn 1. Aiming to get his 3rd career win in his 374th start. Last win was in Talladega in October of 2018. This is going to put Aric Almrola into the playoffs. If he can make it through turns 3 and 4, he's got lap cars in front. But the lead is a little bit too big for Christopher Bell. Aric Almrola with the upset at New Hampshire.
That is awesome.
Hello, guys, at the Carousel Show. We're back again today. And, guys, today it was a day that we always think about racing. And you never think about an unknown driver to win a race. But Aric Almrola, number 10, did it again. I think it's in the Steer Haas Racing. Won a race, and now he's in the playoffs as well, guys. And now we see the 3 remaining positions still available on the 16 teams, or 16 drivers, may say, for the playoffs this coming season. This has been an interesting season. I didn't watch any races this year, but I saw the SRX series last night. Not really much of it. I watched 1 or 2 races. But Tony Stewart has been a legend during this whole racing thing. Him and Ray Abraham has put a deal for SRS series. And I think everybody should watch it. Maybe next year, if they bring in the old legends like Bill Elliott, Dory Frank Kennedy, Tony Kanaan, Paul Tracy, and all those guys who raced it this year enjoyed it. And I know Paul Tracy had a lot of boots, bangs, and bumps, and turnaround people and turnaround drivers. Maybe they put him in their X list now for next year. Well, Paul Tracy should have retired from racing, but it was fun. I mean, Tony Stewart won the SRS Series championship, and what a great highlights of that race. And you see Chase Elliott and Bill Elliott, father and son duo. That was awesome. It was none better than good hard racing. And you see in Knoxville, Tennessee that night, and that was good racing. And you heard somehow that last run the race, so Chase Elliott won the race. That was a great time there. Hey guys, it's getting closer to the time. We know it's fantasy football. I know y'all are excited to listen to me, Champion Polk and Scott Doyle. They will be with me this week. We were going to do it yesterday, but things just didn't fall our way. But hopefully you can listen to this podcast. But also, Punt Situations will be on this next segment, as they will talk about tight ends and special teams. I don't know what they got in store on their YouTube, on their channel. But we will bring that to you today on this episode about their tight ends, special teams, what they think, and what they will bring your help for your team. Let's talk about this season, guys. It's been kind of a weird season. You've been noticing lately. Everybody kind of off key, but hey, we're coming back. We got the guys who got them back, and also we got a special guest coming up this week. You was tune in on that coming soon. David Greenup and the Farmers Insurance Game will be on the podcast for fantasy football. I am excited that my former boss will be on this show. He'll be a special guest on it this week. Hopefully we get him on this week. If not, probably the following week before football season. And he's going to talk about his Texas Tech Raiders. So I think we're going to talk about that soon as he as we get together. We're only like 49 days away, guys, for the opener for the football season for college. So I'm excited for football. I think everybody is. Everybody's getting ready to eat those tailgate foods, parties, and whatnot. It's going to be great, guys. The second segment, we're going to talk about more, but I'll let these guys will do their fantasy stuff. Talk about the punt situation, Caleb Polk, Scott Doyle, right here on the Carousel Show. Hey guys, we're getting close to the fantasy football season. We're getting close to it. It starts now. And this week, we're going to talk about more of your fantasy team, players, and also more about your fantasy output, also your major leagues that you always want to do. FanDuel, DraftKings, ESPN Fantasy, or Yahoo Fantasy. Whatever you use, which app, whatever you do is betting. And so I got the guys, it's Scott Doyle, Caleb Polk. They're the best geniuses. They know these type of deals. I suck at it, but we know that these two guys, they know everything. They win money on it. I practically don't do well, but we will to give you all the information you need. But these two guys, they're great. Join us, Scott and I and Polk, to get your fantasy football team ready. And also, this is the week you will listen through the remainder of football season here on the Carousel Show. Hey, we're back, guys, on the Carousel Show. Actually, the second segment, we're going to talk a little bit more what happened in yesterday that happened. We'll give you the top headlines for this. Is the U.S. men 12 to 3-pointers fuel win over Spain. I guess it's the I think soccer, if I'm not mistaken, right? You have the U.S. beats Canada to win the Group B at the Gold Cup. So I guess they won the Gold Cup from there. So yeah, I mean, this has been interesting that U.S. team has been doing well this whole year, and in soccer, I mean, practically that's what they've been doing the last few. Right now, currently, the Milwaukee Bucks has beat the Phoenix Suns, so they are 3-2 right now. They're going to Game 6. I think it's going to be either in Milwaukee or in Phoenix. I don't know where they're going to be playing at. I think it's in Milwaukee this week. I think it's this coming week. I think it's Monday or Tuesday night basketball. If you had Milwaukee Bucks picked before the finals, NBA Finals, congratulations. I hope you win the big one for the betting size. If you pick the Phoenix, you never know. Phoenix might tie it up and might take it to the last game in Game 7. It always happens in Game 7. I don't know why these things happen, but it does. So, I'm rooting for the Bucks and I'm rooting for the Suns. Whoever wins, this is the first time you're seeing an NBA team play. So we always see the Lakers. You always see Cavaliers. You always see these other teams that goes in these finals. It's always the same old. But I'm glad to see these two teams. They never play against each other, and they're finally playing against each other for the first time this year. So I like to see these two teams do well. Hope for the best for both. Right now, this third segment. Now we're going to talk about. There's no what happened on this day for July 19th. I think we're going to let that one go till we might do it this afternoon. Before we go, and I will say thank you for listening on this show. I will put at the end after their punt situation is over with, what they think about their tight ends and defense, special teams. Thank you guys for listening to this show, and I will let you listen to Scott and Caleb Polk right here on the Carousel Show.
Welcome back to another episode of Punt Situations with Polk and Scott. And this week we're going to talk about wide receivers and tight ends that we love, that we think will do you some good this year if you draft them in fantasy. Scott, how you doing today?
Man, Polk, I'm doing great. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing good. Scott, any news in the NFL this week?
Yes, sir, we do. Wide receiver McKill Harry requested a trade today. So San Francisco is looking at him, and they do need some wide receiver help over there. Do you think he's going to make it over there?
Yeah, I'd love to see him in San Francisco. They really need receivers with Trey Lance. Hopefully he can get the start here pretty soon. They can actually throw the ball down the field this year.
So you don't think Jimmy G is not going to be in the picture there?
No, Scott, I'm not a fan of Jimmy G. I don't think they should have signed him, but maybe N'Keal Harry will help him out.
We'll see, buddy.
Yeah, we will see. Anything else going on in the NFL, Scott?
Yeah, man. So Dallas Cowboys Zeke Elliott is in the news today.
Zeke Elliott, I hear he's looking good at practice.
Yeah, Mike McCarthy and Dan Quinn and all these guys are saying that he is looking fit, looking good, playing really fast, doing everything that he's supposed to be doing, and lost some weight.
Yeah, he lost some weight. Shouldn't he have been doing this last year?
Yeah. I mean, pretty much so. He should have been doing that. He gained a lot of weight. I mean, he looked slow last year for sure.
Yeah, I hope he's doing his dumbbell curls so that he don't drop that ball this year.
Well, yeah, that's a good point as well, too. But, he's not in Cabo this year, so he's not drinking tequilas and, banging Sanritas there.
Yeah, Cabo. What a place. What a place to spend your training camp.
Yeah.
Any news on Aaron Rodgers?
Oh, yeah. A couple of reporters asked him today, said, are you going to be playing with Green Bay this year? He said today at the golf course, we'll see.
So he told the reporters followed him to the golf course, and while he's hitting balls, they asked him if he was going to play for Green Bay.
Yep, and Aaron Rodgers, more likely he is going to play, but I'm pretty sure Devontae Adams is kind of nervous, don't you think, Polk?
Oh, yeah, he's definitely nervous. Now, Aaron Rodgers didn't opt out of the season for, the COVID reasons that they can opt out. So either he's got to get traded or he's got to play or retire, right?
Right. I mean, he got fined for not showing up on the camps, and also he's not getting that guaranteed money.
Now, how do you think that reflects his relationship with Green Bay by not showing up and having to pay the money?
Well, everybody loves Aaron Rodgers over there in Green Bay right now, buddy, other than the GM. Him and the GM are just not seeing eye-to-eye things. He just can't stand a guy. Aaron Rodgers asked the owner, fire him or I'm gone.
So you won't see them on the golf course anytime soon?
No, not at all, man. We'll see. It's right now it's Jordan Love time, but the sad thing is another wide receivers are practicing right now with him. So how is he going to connect with his wide receivers?
Yeah, it looks like they might have to rely on that run game.
Yeah, absolutely. And Polk, what do you think? You think Aaron Jones is going to see some more playing time than Jordan Love plays?
I really think Aaron Jones has a better chance getting the ball more, especially catching it out of the backfield if we see Jordan Love or something like that. Because if they come in and they don't know the playbook and they can't make all the reads, they're going to dump it off. And Aaron Jones is a guy that can take that ball to the house. He can make a quarterback look good just by those 2-3 yard receptions. So I really think it helps his case. Aaron Rodgers has always been good to him, and I think Jordan Love will be a little bit better.
Hey, do you think Aaron Jones right now is pretty ticked off because he could have gone to Miami, go play football over there if Aaron Rodgers wasn't going to play?
I think it's better that he holds out and hopes that Aaron Rodgers plays than play with Tua.
Well, I mean, he did get that big contract, so he was thinking, you know what, my boy's going to be back. I should be good. I should be making my touchdowns. Aaron's going to take care of me, and then he finds out a couple days later he's not going to play. He might hold out on me. He might get traded. All those rumors, man. He's got to be a little ticked off about that.
Oh yeah, I'd definitely be ticked off. But in the same token, Scott, if Jordan Love plays and Aaron Jones is still going to get his carries, he's still going to get his receptions. Maybe that makes Green Bay fall a little bit more in love with Aaron Jones and they up his contract. I don't think so, but you never know.
So guys, I mean, honestly, I would definitely check out the news. Coming in a couple of weeks, because Aaron Jones could be a top player if Aaron Rodgers don't play, and he's going to see more touches this year if he doesn't.
Yep, I agree. Scott, you ready to get into it?
Let's do it, man.
All right, we got wide receivers. We're going to talk about wide receivers today. Me and Scott did the same thing as last week. We're going to take 3 wide receivers that we think are going a little later in the drafts. Same thing with tight ends. We're going to give you our picks. We're going to give you some stats, a couple things, interesting notes that we know about these guys, and hopefully they help you make your decision to win your fantasy league. So, Scott, you want to start it off with wide receivers. Who you got?
My first wide receiver, Polk, is going to be Justin Jefferson.
Justin Jefferson had a breakout season last year.
Yes, he did. In the beginning of the season, it was kind of slow. Coming out of college, everybody thought, his major concern is he couldn't do single coverage. But he really proved that, at the end, toward the end, middle, end of the season, and really just balled out and really did well. And everybody thought CeeDee Lamb was actually going to take over that rookie wide receiver kind of title there. But he came out and just balled. Let me tell you, man, he was ranked 4th out of wide receivers last year of 2020. This year, he's ranked 10th, just below Adam Thielen, but I think he's going to be right back up there with top 5.
Yeah, and Adam Thielen, he's getting up there in age. What is he, 30 years old?
Yeah.
So you're going to start seeing it. I don't know about this year, but, soon, coming in the near future, his skills are going to diminish. He was never fast, but speed's the first thing to go. Eventually, that route running and that quickness, those hands have to go.
Yeah, absolutely, Paul. Also, man, he had 88 catches last year, 1,400 yards, 7 TDs. I mean, that is just, and 1 fumble. I mean, what does that tell you? For a young rookie, that's really well.
Yeah, he came in strong.
Yeah, I mean, he had 23 plus 20-yard catches, 440 plus catches. I'm pretty impressed with that for a rookie there.
Yeah, I like that. I like those stats. I mean, 1,400 yards, that's an amazing feat for any rookie.
And fun fact here, he was 7 yards behind D-Hops, that's amazing in itself, and 16 yards behind Travis Kelce. Now, that just put him right below Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, and those are the top guys. For him to be in that category, do you consider him a Tier 1 wide receiver?
Yeah, definitely. I think he's going to be a Tier 1 wide receiver this year. Last year in the fantasy drafts, he was picked towards the end and also found in the waiver wires as well, which amazes me. But also, in my opinion this year, I think he's going to be maybe a late round 3, early 4th round kind of guy.
You think he's going to fall that far, huh?
I think so. I mean, I really do. I think a lot of people are going to scramble to get running backs. That guys are like, okay, man, I messed up. I should have got a running back. So I think he's going to drop that up. It could be mid-3rd, but honestly, it's going to probably be late 3rd, 4th round because a lot of people are going to be concerned with his sophomore slump.
So, Scott, I know you really like Justin Jefferson, and we did our fantasy draw the other night. You took 4. You going to take him in that 4th spot?
No, I probably won't take him in the 4th spot there.
I'm trying to bake fantasy information out of you. I need to know who's going ahead of me.
No, I'll let you know the day of the draft.
Okay, the day of the draft, huh?
Yeah.
Right when you put that sticker up there.
Right when I put up that sticker and I look at you and smile and wink at you.
I like the wink. Guys. All right, anything else you got to say about Justin Jefferson?
Man, that is it, man. Polk, who do you got for your first wide receiver?
Well, guys, I'm going with Scary Terry, and I know he don't like the name, I'm sorry, but Terry McLaurin, wide receiver for the Washington football team.
Hey, the no-name team. Hey, I did hear Washington is thinking about, I think in 2022, have a real name.
I'm kind of a fan of the Washington football team.
Yeah. I mean, we make fun of it. I think it's pretty cool.
I do. I like the whole established and everything else. It's different. Instead of having a line, they're representing their team themselves. Let's talk about Terry McLaurin. So his ADP is 37.2. So you can get him in the early 4th to the end of the 4th. He was 23rd fantasy wide receiver last year. Listen to some of these stats, guys. 87 receptions. He was 17. 1,118 yards. That's 13th. 4 TDs, tied 63rd, averaged 12.9 yards a catch. The only number here that's low is going to be the TDs.
So what do you think? Why do you think the TDs are going to be low?
Well, his TDs were low because he had 4 different quarterbacks last season. And listen to this, Scott. All 4 of those TDs had under 70% completion percentage.
Wow. Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, so I think with Ryan Fitzpatrick, he's going to sling the ball a little more. Now, Ryan Fitzpatrick don't beat that 70%, but he's pretty close to 69.5 last season in Miami. I'm going to go ahead and say that Terry McLaurin is better than any receiver on that Miami team.
Oh, absolutely, man. And you know what? With Fitzpatrick, loves to launch the ball. Scary Terry is going to get his name. The reason why he's going to have Scary Terry.
Yeah, you talk about they love to launch the ball. Well, Washington was 8th in total team passes last year. Did you know that?
No, I didn't. Wow. That's pretty interesting.
They love to throw the ball. And McLaurin also played with 2 high ankle sprains. He came out and said that. Hopefully he's fully healthy this year, and these numbers can only go up from here, right?
Right, man. And I think he will. I think he's going to have a really good season this year. With his speed and Fitzpatrick's arm, Dallas, y'all need to be worried.
That's right. And it's his second year with Ron Riverboat Ron Riviera. He'll know the system a little bit better. I got a couple fun facts, Scott. You ready for them?
Let's do it.
So we're going to it's not off topic, but we're going to talk about the Carolina Panthers.
Okay.
You know why we're talking about the Carolina Panthers?
Yeah, because Ron was over there his last few years.
Yep, Ron was over there. So I got 8 seasons of stats. This is crazy stats that I just happened to stumble across. From 2012 to 2019, they had 6 seasons of over 500 pass attempts. The other 2 seasons, they had over 600 pass attempts. Ron had 2 seasons with over 600 pass attempts with Cam Newton.
Cam,
Right.
we all know Cam loves to run.
Exactly. And he's thrown the ball 600 times. Now imagine what they could do with Ryan Fitzpatrick, who likes to throw the ball.
Oh, man, it's going to be dangerous.
That's right. And, we see half of those targets come Scary Terry's way. He's going to do a lot with them.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, with those wide receivers that he got this year, with Curtis Samuels being on there as well, Logan Thomas, it's going to be pretty nasty over there in Washington.
That's right. So, Scott, let's move on.
All right.
You got a wide receiver too for me?
Man, I do, man. And it's one of your favorite guys from last year. Can you remember who it is?
One of my favorite guys from last year. I have a lot of favorite guys from
Okay, man. Well, it's your boy, Allen Robinson.
Allen Robinson did me really well in fantasy. He was one of the most consistent players out of my team. One of the guys that I really didn't have to worry about starting, sitting, things like that. He, what's crazy is I noticed that Allen Robinson would go a whole game with only like 3 catches. And in the fourth quarter, Chicago realized, hey, we're losing. And then they would hyper-target Allen Robinson, which was great for me. That's where he'd get his touchdowns. He'd get another 10 receptions in the last 2 minutes of the game. It really worked out.
Yeah, so it really helped you out on that season last year as well. But, hey, man, did you know last year that he was ranked 9th out of all wide receivers in 2020?
9th for a guy that had to beg for a contract.
Yeah, begged for a contract and had 2 horrible quarterbacks.
Mitch Trubisky, is he a forever backup now?
I think he is. He's backing up for Buffalo right now. So, in the long run, something happens to Josh Allen, I think he's going to help out a little bit. But he is a career backup from now on.
Yeah, the Bills need to pray that nothing ever happens to Josh Allen.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, of course, they brought in Nick Foles, and that didn't look good well. They were hoping a little magic from, him from Philly, and that really burned him. And so they brought, Mitch the bitch bat.
Yep. Scott, give me some stats from Allen Robinson.
Okay, man. Well, and this year that he's ranked 4th. Let me tell you the reason why, folks. He's ranked 4th in wide receivers this year. They got 2 new quarterbacks. You got Andy Dalton, which more likely, if something happens to Andy Dalton, he's going to sit, and they're bringing Justin Fields.
Scott, how many games do you think Andy Dalton actually plays?
I think, honestly, it's going to be 2 to 3 games at the most. He's gonna mess up somewhere. I mean, that's Andy Dalton. He's a career backup quarterback. Sad to say. I mean, I like the guy. I think he has a great arm. He just is going to be a career backup in it, and I feel bad for the guy.
So what Scott's basically saying is you can go and get Justin Fields probably in the free agency, a game or 2 into it, and hold on to him, see if it starts. Definitely hope he plays well.
You could get Justin Fields on your last pick. Well, I mean, if there's nobody on the board, why not get him, just in case?
Yeah, I agree. Now, the only thing I have to say about that is Ohio State quarterbacks.
They don't last long in the NFL.
No, they really hadn't. A lot of, 2's been converted to receiver and didn't really pan out, huh?
No, they didn't. And so, but Justin Fields, everybody's really talking about him. Even though he has that little scramble at Alabama, him sitting down and everything, he's okay with it now. He wants to learn. He knows this is his career now, so he wants to play, and he's going to get his chance this year. And I believe he's going to do well. I don't think he's going to do a lifetime career with the NFL, but we'll see.
Yeah, you never know. You never know how these guys pan out.
Back to Allen Robinson, man. He had 102 receiving yards last year, 1,250 yards with 6 TDs. That's truly amazing with the quarterbacks that he had over there.
Yeah, it is. You're getting 102 receptions with Mitch Trubisky. Wow, that shows your talent.
Yeah, and he had also 20-plus yards and 140-plus yard, and that was what you were talking about, your 2-minute warning there. Hey, Pop, I have a question for you, man. I keep hearing your phone going off. Is that Adam Schefter keep texting you? Tell them to chill out. We're doing a podcast right now.
Yeah, I went ahead and silenced it, guys.
Oh, man, thanks. Hey, Polk, last year, Allen Robinson, he was most consistent catches, and he had 21, and only posted 1% drop rate, and that was ranked 3rd in most wide receivers with a 100-yard-plus target. Truly amazing with last year with the struggles with the Bears' offense.
100 catches and 1% drop rate?
Well, it's crazy, isn't it?
That is crazy. That's talent right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Since joining with the Bears in 2018, he was ranked 5th drop rate with 2.2%, and he was consistent catches with 61.
Just imagine what kind of talent he would be if he didn't tear his ACL.
Oh, man, wouldn't he? He would have been just number 1, probably a number 2 top wide receiver.
Yeah, he was great. He came on so strong that first year.
Yeah, man. He looked great. Polk, that's all I got on Allen Robinson, man. Who is your second one?
I really like Allen Robinson. I was going to pick him.
Yeah, you and I think alike sometimes, buddy.
Yeah, great minds do think alike.
Yeah.
So my second wide receiver, guys, we're going to go with Tyler Lockett.
Ooh, I love Tyler Lockett, man.
Yeah, I like Tyler Lockett. He's something special. So Tyler Lockett right now, his ADP is 58.8. Guys, that's the end of the fourth, mid-fifth. He's 11th fantasy wide receiver last year. He was number 11, and he's going in the 5th round.
That's crazy, wasn't it? There's a fun fact with that one, man. You know Tyler Lockett was only 94% picked in fantasy drafts. He was still in the waiver wire. Can you believe that?
Tyler Lockett in the waiver wire?
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
What a steal if you pick him up.
Yeah. I mean, why would you not pick him up? He should be at 100% in all fantasy leagues.
Right, because he's still the number one in Seattle over there.
Yeah, I mean, even though DK has taken some of his thunder away, he's still number one. He's still fast. He still catch so many touchdowns. I mean, it's just unreal that he was just only 94%.
What it showed, DK is pretty good at running that straight route, that go route. Tyler Lockett, they move him all over the field, run him out of the slot, everything else. Let's get to some of the stats, Tyler Lockett. Right?
All right, let's do it.
100 receptions last year. That's tied 7th, 1,054 yards, 17, 10 touchdowns, tied 8. 2 of those are top 10, okay? Yeah, he only had an average of 10.5, which isn't too bad, but guys, that's a point of reception. You know, it's not a PPR, but, you know, every 10 yards as a receiver, you get a point in standard leagues. So every time he catches the ball, and he caught the ball 100 times, that's 100 points right off the bat. Seattle is 20th in pass attempts, but that's going to go up. You know, they're going to have the run game come back. They're going to be able to get teams to stack the box. They're going to get teams to play off that run. They're going to throw off that play action. They're going to have more passes, I think. They're going to be a more passing offense geared towards the pass a little bit. So here's a fun fact about Tyler Lockett. Last year, he kind of had some missed games, but he just wasn't targeted, but they were trying to figure out their whole system. Tyler Lockett's only had one missed game in 6 seasons. One missed game in 6 seasons, Scott.
One game in 6 seasons. That is amazing. A lot of players, you know, with being in the NFL for 6 seasons, they're at least going to be like 3 to 4 times just out of the game for some kind of reason.
Right. So that's a guy that you can rely on every week. You don't have to worry, is he going to play? Is he going to start? You know, you got a few of those receivers, a bunch of guys. You know, every year players have problems with guys missing games because of injury. Tyler Lockett's not one of those guys.
No, he's not. He should never be on your bench unless somehow, some way, you got Devontae Adams, Julio Jones, and possibly, you know, maybe Calvin Ridley on your lineup. That's the only way.
Yeah, that's the only way. And you better be playing in a 3-man team or a 3-man league.
Yeah, exactly.
He had 8 or more touchdowns in the past 3 seasons. His reception numbers have went up every single season.
Wow, that's amazing. That's truly amazing. Especially when DK, you know, came in there, you know, taking a little bit of the thunder away from him, he still is going up.
Yeah, he did. So a little incentive. Tyler Lockett signed a 4-year, $69.2 million contract extension. So that shows that he's in the team's plan. He can earn $1.2 million with 55 catches, 800 reception yards, or 8 TDs. That's the base. I think that's the base for Tyler Lockett. 55 catches, 800 yards, and 8 TDs.
So, Pope, where do you have him ranked this year if you're going to choose?
Well, like I said, he's 11th. He was 11th fantasy wide receiver last year. I guess for me, what it boils down to is I can get a number 1 receiver in the 4th or 5th. I don't think he's a tier 1 receiver, but he is a number 1 receiver. He's a guy that, you know, like I said, I can go and get 2 stud running backs. I can get a stud receiver or a stud tight end, you know, Kels, or depending on how you draft. But then I can go get Tyler Lockett. And I can have a solid wide receiver starting in my second wide receiver slot.
Absolutely, Pope. Guys, if you're worried about the wide receivers in Seattle right now, don't be. Russell Wilson's going to be back in prime. His offensive line is healthy. He's getting Chris Carson back, which, you know, it's going to be a huge help for Russell Wilson. And it gives him the chance to look down the field and look for Tyler Lockett or DK Metcalf if you get him.
Yeah, and one more little fun fact. Tyler Lockett had a 75.8 catch rate last year. He was number 9 in the NFL.
Wow.
And he had a 2.17 target separation, which is number 6 in the NFL. Only 5 guys are getting better separation than Tyler Lockett. You get separation, that translates into touchdowns, especially if they have the speed, and Tyler Lockett's got the speed.
Yep, you got it, man.
All right, Scott, so moving on. Let's hear that wide receiver 3.
Do you have a guess?
So let me give it a little ponder. How about Calvin Ridley?
No, not Calvin Ridley, man. I actually went down deep, looked for this guy because I think he's going to have a wonderful year with this quarterback. It's going to be Robert Woods.
Robert Woods. So Matt Stafford was one of your QB picks, right?
Yeah, Matt Stafford. Yeah, absolutely.
So you're doubling down, going with the quarterback and wide receiver.
Yeah, man. Matthew Stafford is super excited to be with the Rams right now, and he loves the connection that he has with Robert Woods in the practices. So they're going to make some magic this year. with Cooper Kupp also being there, Cooper Kupp had a little bit of a down year last year as well. But, look who he had. He had Jared Goff, your best friend, Jared Goff over there. And, he's going to look good, man. He's going to do well. And Matthew is he's super excited. And Robert, he's ready to say he's going to get double-digit touchdowns this year with Matthew Stafford.
Double-digit touchdowns. That's a feat. Scott, where do you got him going?
Man, I got him going this year. Yeah, man, they got him ranked 24th. Excuse me, I have him ranked 24th. They got him ranked 29th. He's going to be a guy that's going to be in the late 4th round, probably mid-5th round pick. Like you were talking about Tyler Lockett, man. He's a number 1 wide receiver, but I don't think he's a tier 1 wide receiver. He's going to be your number 2, probably a Bucks guy. When your guy is out for that week, I definitely would put him in. He scored last year 6 TDs last year, folks. I mean, that was okay. I mean, he had Jared Goff underneath the helm over there, so that's your boy Jared Goff for you. He had 936 yards, kept 90 receiving yards. He averaged 10.4 yards, which is not bad, but his longest catch was 56 yards. It's okay. He did okay last year, but I think he's going to do really, really well this year with Matthew Stafford being there. And Matthew Stafford has that cannon arm, and he does have a good separation as well.
So you're saying the problem was Jared Goff?
Yeah, I mean, all along it has been Jared Goff.
So he put up good numbers, and it was Jared Goff.
It was average. I mean, he got overlooked last year because of Jared Goff.
Okay, I can go with that. So you're saying that you can get Robert Woods, what'd you say, mid-4th to early 5th?
Yeah, mid-4th, or, early 5th, possible late. Just depends on where your wide receivers are at that point.
And then what if you went around the 7th to 8th round and grabbed Matthew Stafford and stacked him?
Well, then you're looking pretty over there.
I think so, too. I like Matthew Stafford. Robert Woods has been one of the most consistent pieces in the NFL in the past few years. So,
well, I mean, he's been a different person since he came from the Bills. I mean, he was just not even, he was below average with the Bills.
To be fair, I liked him at the Bills.
Yeah, but, I mean, look at the situation over there with who he had over there. He didn't really get to shine, and still he got into, with L.A.
Now, he had his teammate, the great Sammy Watkins.
Oh, yeah, and look at him now. He's at Kansas City, but struggling for a contract.
No, Kansas City, actually, he's gone. He's out of Kansas City.
Oh, see? Well, there you go.
I think he's over there in Baltimore now.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. So, I mean, all in all, I mean, he ranked 15th highest graded wide receiver since 2017.
Wow.
Yeah. While also slotting in the top 5 both with yards and receptions with 5.6 and a percentage of catchable targets with 92.8.
92.8. All right. So you're saying he's a solid receiver. He just needed a quarterback.
Yeah, he just needed a quarterback. I mean, he doesn't have the fumblees. He just needed a quarterback that can connect with him, and Jared Goff wasn't the guy for him. Jared Goff was looking at his tight ends more and trying to throw to them. He was looking at Cooper Kupp a lot when they had Brandon Cooks over there, threw to him. Robert Woods, when he is open and he's in the slot, he's dangerous.
So what you're saying is Robert Woods is one of those guys that consistently makes catches and scores points, but he's overlooked.
Yes. Overlooked.
Okay. All right. So the third receiver I want to talk about today is DJ Moore.
Why DJ Moore?
Well, DJ Moore is crazy talented, but unfortunately, he couldn't bring it out with Check Down Teddy last year. Let's list some of his stats. Well, let's address his ADP first.
Okay.
So he's going. ADP is 68. That is mid 6th round, beginning of the 7th. He was the 17th wide receiver last year.
That's pretty damn good.
That's pretty good for going 7th round.
Yeah.
Some of the stats, and they don't sound amazing. Hear me out. 66 receptions, tied 36, 1,193 yards. He was the 11th. Okay. 4 TDs, tied 63rd. But he had 18.1 average yards a catch last year. That was 3rd. So 22nd pass attempts last season. But with CMC back, you should see some of those passing lanes open up because everybody's going to try to stop CMC, right?
Yeah. I mean, everybody's going to stack the front and try to get him. And guess what? He's going to have a single coverage. That's
right. So DJ Moore had only 83 yards less than Tyreek Hill in 2020.
Whoa.
83 yards less than, a guy that's going, the first, 2nd round?
Yeah, absolutely.
He had 21 less catches. He had 83 yards less, but 21 less catches.
Just think, if he had a quarterback, just throw to him a little bit more. Guess where he probably would have been up there in the top 10.
Well, they have that quarterback, Scott. You know who that is?
Oh, man, yeah. Sam Darnold now.
Sam Darnold. I think, guys,
And Polk, you and I agree with this. We think he's a great quarterback. I think the Jets just gave up on him.
I think it's Adam Gase.
Yeah.
Guys, now, you know that I don't like Jared Goff. We'll save this till the end, but Adam Gase has a special spot in my heart of hate.
Oh, he's got a worse special place in my heart. Well, I can't stand the man. No, I don't like the word hate. I hate this guy.
As a person?
As a person, I don't give a crap. I've never met the man. I don't like him. He can't coach. He never has coached. He will never.
Welcome to the show, Adam Gase.
Yes.
Yep, exactly. I feel the same way. I'm not a fan of Adam Gase. I wish teams would stop hiring him. Please stop, guys. Please. If any NFL owners listening, stop hiring Adam Gase.
You want to hire him? Hire him as a water boy.
That's right. He can get water. Maybe. We talked about DJ Moore having only 83 yards less than Tyreek Hill and 21 less catches. How about this? Stephon Diggs had 20-plus yard plays. How many DJ Moore had?
Well, man, tell me.
He had 19.
Wow.
19 20-plus yard plays.
One behind those Stephon Diggs there.
One behind the number one rated receiver last year, right?
Yep.
DJ Moore tied with only DeAndre Hopkins. Everybody knows DeAndre Hopkins, right?
D-Hops.
D-Hops. With 6 40-plus yard pass plays. Beating Stephon Diggs and Devontae Adams, who only had 5.
That's truly amazing because, towards the end, nobody could catch Devontae Adams.
That's right. The receivers that I'm comparing him to are some of the best in the league. You got Stephon Diggs, DeAndre Hopkins, and Devontae Adams. These are 3 guys that go out and dominate every year.
These are tier 1 guys that you're going to pick every single day.
And DJ Moore's numbers are right behind him, if not tied with him. 6 40-plus yards, tied with DeAndre Hopkins.
It sounds like he could be a tier 1 wide receiver with those numbers right there.
It really does, and I think if he gets just a few more receptions, especially with that average, he's going to be a tier 1 wide receiver. He's a guy you can get in the 7th round.
Yeah, that's truly amazing in the 7th round. I mean, possibly you can get him in 8th round. It's amazing what you can do with a guy like that. Like Polk mentioned, if you get 2 good running backs and maybe a decent tight end, and let's say you get, for example, maybe you get the rookie Jamar Chase, okay? And you get DJ Moore, hey, you're looking pretty sweet right there.
Well, and just like that, Julio Jones is actually dropped. He's going in the 3rd or 4th round. You go get your 2 stud running backs, right? And then you go get Julio Jones. I couldn't think of another better player with higher upside to pair him with DJ Moore.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That's a great pick there you did on that.
I mean, you could sit there and go get defensive kickers and then pick DJ Moore as late as you go.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So that'll sum up our wide receivers.
Let's hit it on the tight ends, man.
You ready for tight ends, Scott?
Let's do it.
You ready to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first, man. So my tight end is going to be Mike Gesicki.
Okay.
One day.
He was projected to really break out when he came into the league.
Yeah, he did. He had a rough start with the different quarterbacks that you have at Miami. It was kind of hard for him.
Yeah, they do go through quarterbacks.
So, he had a good start with, Fitzmagic. And then they brought in and he was kind of left in the dust there. But even though they got the rookie this year, I still think he's ranked 6 in my last year. Excuse me, he was ranked 6 last year. They have it predicted of 8. I think he's going to be right back up there. He had 53 catches, 85 targets, 703 yards, and 6 TDs last year with an average of 13.4 yards a catch.
6 TDs. That's not bad at all.
No, it's not bad for a tight end. With the tight ends last year dropping like flies, he was a guy that cut off the waiver wire on some fantasy.
So you saying draft him this year?
Yeah, I would definitely draft him. If your guys that say Kelsey's gone, Waller's gone, Kittle's gone, and you're left with Dallas Goedert and all those guys, he's not a bad guy to pick because Tua.
You taking him over Dallas Goedert?
Honestly, I would probably pick Dallas Goedert over.
Yeah, because Philadelphia said that they're going to make a point to use Goddard this year, right?
Right. Yeah, I only got one wide receiver in the draft.
Yeah, and he kind of muscled Zach Ertz out of town.
Yeah, so what are you going to do? Who are you going to throw to? Dallas Goedert or the Heisman winner?
Right, understandable.
So,
the Heisman winner, but
they're kind of like in the same situation last year. They're going to have guys from the practice squad who just come up. And with D-Jack's gone, Alshon Hurt Jeffries, they let him go. Who are you going to throw it to?
Alshon Hurt Jeffries. I like that, Scott.
Yeah. I mean, he's a guy that said, hey, I'm going to have a breakout year, and right before the season started, I'm hurt.
How many games did he play last year? Do you know off the top of your head?
I think he had probably maybe 2, 3.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, I mean,
so he really broke out, huh?
Yeah, he had a breakout year, I mean, especially through the playoffs over there.
Understandable. So tell me a little bit more about Mike Gesicki.
Hey, man, he averaged 6.5 in fantasy points last year.
6.5 a game?
Yeah, that's not bad.
No, it's not. I mean, that's a touchdown stat.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you got a guy that is on a bye week and roster is not all good on the bench, I would definitely put in Mike.
Exactly. So you're saying if you're losing by a touchdown, Mike's going to get you taken care of.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's a little fun fact here. His PFF grade was risen from 50.2 as a rookie in 2018 to 78.
So he's only getting better.
He's only getting better each and every year. He did some major damage in the slot for the Dolphins last year, too.
Okay, yeah, I like it.
He's the only tight end in an NFL with 500 routes run in the slot.
So the opportunity's there.
Yeah, the opportunity's there. He's going to do well. Even though they got Jalen Waddle in the draft and Will, the thrill, I'm going to get suspended Fuller.
Now, he's only suspended, the first game, right?
Yeah, maybe the first game. And say he comes back and, gets hurt.
Yeah, I don't think he's played a full season, right, in the NFL?
He has not played a full season. He had a chance last year to play a full season, but the drug he's got to him.
PEDs, they're terrible.
Yep, the little candies got to him.
The little candies.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a good guy to secure a spot. I definitely would pick him in the later rounds. Definitely around the 9th, 10th round. He's a good little pickup, if you already got a tight end.
Okay. I'm liking it. I like what I hear.
Yeah. So, Polk, tell me, who's your first tight end?
Tight ends are a little hard because we have these tier guys. You got Kittle, you got Waller, and you got Kels. Those are the top tier tight ends. And we're saying if you miss out on one of those guys, I tend to do, tight end, it's kind of an afterburner. I think one year I had a solid start tight end. That's the first year. Kittle.
I think did you have Mark Andrews one year?
No, unfortunately, I've never been able to draft Mark Andrews. I had Kittle the first year.
Yeah.
And I got him super late in the draft, and he just exploded onto the scene. He's kind of been one of those injury guys, but we're going to get to mine. TJ Hawkinson.
Oh, so you're pretty confident with TJ Hawkinson with your boy Jared Goff.
Yeah, not so much my boy Jared Goff, but we'll get to that. TJ Hawkinson, ADP is 62.8. That's the beginning of the 6th, beginning of the 7th. He was the 5th tight end last year. Some of his stats, he had 67 receptions. He's tied 34th. And, guys, these receptions and stuff, they're compared to receivers. So, 34th, that's not bad compared to receivers. He had 723 yards, 51st, 6 TDs, tied 29.
Pretty impressive.
Pretty impressive, right?
But let's remember, he had Matthew Stafford.
He did have Matthew Stafford. So, he's got Jared Goff this year, right?
Yeah.
Goff threw 85 passes to tight ends last season. That's only 7 less than what was thrown to his number 1 wide receiver.
Wow.
It's only 7 passes less than what he threw to his number 1 wide receiver. Hawkinson had more receptions last year than all 3 of our Lions starting wide receivers, 21 combined.
That's truly amazing.
That's going to give Goff that security blanket, that guy that comes in and is consistent.
Well, of course it's going to give him the security blanket, man. I mean, do you know who his wide receivers are? Geronimo Allison, Rashard Perryman, Tyrell Williams.
Tyrell Williams.
Yeah.
How many passes did Tyrell Williams catch in the NFL last year?
His stats last year for, catches, he had 42. 42. In 2020. Excuse me, 2019, because he didn't play 2020 because of, I think he opted out on COVID. So, we'll see.
Their number 1 receiver had 0 catches last year. So, TJ Hawkinson's already got a leg up on the competition. Hawkinson had more yards in 2020 than all 3 of Detroit's 2021 starting wide receivers.
Wow, that's phenomenal, man.
That's phenomenal, right? So what we're saying is Hawkinson's a guy. He's the only guy right now in Detroit that's, a staple. And Goff's going to come in. Goff's going to figure it out. Hawkinson already knows the playbook.
What are you looking at his catches this year? Because, his they have been talking a little bit highly about Swift helping out a little bit over there, looking good. But, I mean, with those guys that he has as wide receivers, Geronimo Allison had the best quarterback, and he didn't do too well with him. So
I really think his receptions come up this year. I think he tops 70.
Oh, well, that's great.
And then, Jared Goff's going to look for him in the end zone because why wouldn't you? Who else are you going to look for? They will have opportunities in the red zone.
On the opposite side where they're at?
We're going with their defense is going to get them opportunities. They're going to run it down to the 1 and accidentally step out of bounds, and then that's where TJ Hawkins is going to come in.
Yeah, you're probably 100% right about that, man. Awesome pick. I mean, let's look at it. I mean, Goff loves throwing to tight ends. I mean, even though his tight ends last year didn't help him out much, Higbee did, had a few games that he was supposed to do well. didn't turn out for him, but TJ is going to actually work out for him.
And they were real similar. With the Lions, they only have one tight end. It's going to be Hawkinson. The coaches really liked Everett. Everett had the physical ability. Higbee, had the consistent catching. But I think Higbee had 44 catches and Everett had 41. So I think all those catches go to Hawkinson this year. And he's talented. The boy's got the talent to do something with it.
Yeah, my only concern with him, he did have a little injury last year. But if this guy stays healthy, which I know he probably will, he should do good for you guys.
That's right. And we're saying that's a tight end that you can get later on. That he was the number 5 tight end last year.
So what would you get him at?
It really depends on tight ends for me. You see those runs. You see those runs on tight ends where first their guys are gone and there's kind of a little lull, and then there's a run on tight end. I think he should start the run. I think in the 6th round when you've got your running backs and you've got your receivers, you got a couple guys that you can lean on. Hawkins is going to be one of the first tight ends that I would consider grabbing.
Wow, that's great. Yeah, definitely, man.
All right, Scott, so you got another tight end for us?
Man, I do. So we are going back to the Washington no-name football team.
Uh-oh.
And I have chosen Logan Thomas.
Logan Thomas, the old converted quarterback.
Yeah, the old quarterback had a breakout year last year. He was ranked 7th against tight ends. This year, he's ranked 14th, and everybody's like, why are you going to go with this guy? Well, I'll tell you here in a second. But last year, he had 110 targets with the quarterbacks that he had. The 4 quarterback, he had 110 targets with 73 catches and 6 TDs, and he averaged 9.3 a catch. That's pretty amazing.
That is pretty amazing. Another fun thing about Logan Thomas is he will get in there, and he threw a pass last year.
Yeah. They're not afraid to do a little trick play on that. So hey, if he can score you a touchdown, by throwing, there you go.
That's right. There you go. You get those yards and that touchdown.
But he averaged 6.6 in fantasy last year, and he was owned by 91.6 owners last year that had him. So he was pretty much in the waiver wires on some league.
Okay. So you're saying he's a tight end that usually you go ahead and draft, someone terrible.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like Jared Cook.
Oh, well, we'll talk about Jared Cook.
I've seen his list, guys.
Yeah. So, he caught twice as many passes last year. He had 72. His career combined was 35, so that's a big uptick.
That is a big uptick. And again, he's an old converted. He was a quarterback in college, so now he's starting to learn how to play tight end and getting opportunities to find open spaces.
Fun fact here: did you know that Thomas was the only tight end in the NFL to play over 1,000 regular season snaps last year, rarely coming off the field?
So he's on the field, and on the field equals opportunity.
Yeah. So This guy's a beast last year, and he can throw some blocks too. He's a big guy. Something I know that doesn't help out much when you say Blake. He's a good blocker, but this is why the guy's on the field. He can do it all. Even though he's been in the league for a while, and he's 30 years old. So
is he 30 years old?
Yeah, he's 30 years old. He's been in the league for a while, but coming to Washington, they lost 2 good tight ends, and Logan Thomas just lost.
They did. So I'm super excited to see what he does this next year.
Yeah, Polk, who's your tight end?
All right, Scott, so we'll go with a guy that he did well.
Is it Tebow?
No, it's not Tebow.
Oh, damn.
Do you think Tebow's going to make the roster?
I think he is going to make the roster. Let me tell you why I think he's going to make the roster. He is loved, and that's why he's going to be on the roster. He went to college there. This guy, they're just using him for a gimmick. Let's be honest. He's probably going to play maybe a game or 2. It's going to be like a Rudy Rudiger kind of type thing. And hey, you know what? That was fun. Talk to you later.
Wasn't he born in Jacksonville?
Yep.
Yeah, he was born in Jacksonville. He went to college, Florida State.
Yeah.
He had, the number 1 jersey sales, correct?
He still does over there.
Still does.
That's amazing.
That's crazy. We're going to get past Tim Tebow. We're going to talk about Noah Fant. Noah Fant is a guy I really like this year. I had him last year. I think he's going to have a lot better season. ADP is 146. That's the 12th round, guys.
Hey, Polk, he should have a better season. He had a guy that came off the street and threw him a football, tried to throw him a football last year. So he should have a better this year.
Yeah, we hope Drew Lock gets it all put together this year. Noah Fant, 13th tight end overall last season, right? Some of his stats, 62 receptions, he was 44, 673 yards, 57, 3 TDs, 87. I really think that his TDs are going to go up this year.
Oh, I do too, man. It has to. With Teddy Bridgewater being over there, Drew Lock healthy again, it looks like he's going to, do very well over there.
Yeah, I think he is. I think that touchdown number comes up. I think his receptions come up. He has a lot better season. He was middle of the pack in passing attempts at 12, but he had 8 20-plus yard plays last season.
Wow, that's pretty damn good for kind of like, Washington, not having quarterbacks over there on a consistent basis.
Exactly. Boy's got wheels. You know that he's above DJ Shark and CeeDee Lamb and Robert Tonyan in red zone targets?
Oh, wow. That's truly amazing. Again, with the quarterback situation they had over there.
Exactly. He catches half of those, and he's going to be a lot better tight end, next season than what he was last season.
Absolutely.
So, Scott, you got one more tight end for us?
Man, I do. So, this guy last year was supposed to have a little bit of a breakout season as well, but his quarterback got hurt, and he was kind of, not looked at much, but it's my boy Jared Cook.
Jared Cook. How old is Jared Cook? Do you know?
I think he's like 142 years old.
142. He's played, 100 years in the NFL, huh?
Yeah, but, he's still out there. He's kind of like a Vernon Davis kind of type guy. Just, still wants to play football, and he's still in great shape, man. He's a big old 6'6" guy, so he should do well. With them losing Hunter Henry last year, it's going to help Justin Herbert, and I do apologize to the fans if I mispronounce his last name, but he should do well this year.
But it's just Charger fans, so they have, 12 fans total?
Yeah, well, give them a little credit, man. I think they have 14.
Okay, and dropping every second.
The only reason why they have fans is because of Justin Herbert, and probably keeping that.
The only reason I say that, guys, is I spent a little time in the military, stationed over there in San Diego. For the first year, I didn't meet a Charger fan, but that next year they made playoffs, and I promise you, everybody in that city wore a Charger jacket or jersey. It was really surprising. I even got on the bandwagon a little bit, but as soon as they lost, it was over.
Yeah, it's pretty sad over there. Especially when they were to San Diego, those fans are not loyal over there.
Oh, yeah, it's LA fans, right?
Right.
Which are definitely more loyal.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why they lost the Raiders. So.
Oh.
But going back to Jared Cook, he was ranked 12th last year, 2020. Not too bad. Not great. But, again, let's remember, Drew Brees got hurt last year, and he did go to him a lot his last year. But this year, he's ranked 16th. All right, so you're saying, Scott, why are you getting this guy that is 16? He had 60 targets last year with 37 catches. He did have a bit of the drops last year, but, he had 504 yards receiving, but he averaged 13.6 yards a catch.
Scott, you think any of those drops had to do with age and arthritis?
It could be. His arthritis could be cracking up on his hands. He could have had dementia for a second. You never know. But he's still a good tight end. And guess what? He was averaging 6 points a game.
6 points. You keep hitting me with that. That's a touchdown, guys.
Yeah, so it was a touchdown. But, the crazy thing is, he was only on 29.7 in the league.
You see, he's one I had tight end issues last year, and he was one I definitely targeted. But the week I happened to target him, someone else paid a little bit more for that.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure they did in our league. There's way worse. They could have done it for the Chargers. They could have not get anybody out there, but they did go get Jared Cook. I think it's going to help him out. He signed a $4.5 million contract in the offseason, 34 years old. He's not 134. In his past 3 years, he has played his best football, with the Raiders and the Saints.
Yeah, I agree. He was definitely one of those big target guys over there for the Raiders.
Yeah, still providing, with his vertical threat at his age. He's over the past 3 seasons, 14.2 yards. That's still dang good as for a tight end, with 100 yards of reception.
Scott, I want to go back to that. You said 14 point what yards?
14.2 yards.
That's per catch, huh?
Per catch.
That's better than some of the receivers we named.
Yeah, guys, just because he's old doesn't mean this guy's not going to catch you. He still has speed. It's not as fast as it used to be, but he still has speed over there, and he'll still catch that ball. And he's going to be a threat in the end zone when Justin's looking for him.
Yeah, and at 6'6", all he's got to do is try to high point him.
Yeah, so those guys, they can't tackle him. Look at his big body frame, man. He's like 265. How are these guys, these corners, these DBs, safety, how are they going to, get this guy down?
No, they're definitely not wrapping him up.
Yeah, look out for him. He's going to have a breakout year. I think he's going to do a little bit better than last year. You can get this guy late in the rounds. I'm talking about, 9th, 10th round. So don't be afraid to get this guy.
That's what he's saying. You can draft and you can be comfortable with your draft and then go grab a tight end, especially after the run. This is 9th, 10th round, guys. Everybody else is trying to load down on backups, and he's saying you can get a quality starter in there.
Yeah, you can get a quality starter, or say you landed a good tight end. Hey, guess what? Your good tight end, is going to have a bye week. So why not use him and get that 6 points? Because if you didn't have that 6 points, you could lose.
See, Scott, keep going back to that two tight end. With some of these guys, you're going to have to kind of do that. You got those tier 1 tight ends. After that, it falls off real quick. 2 tight ends wouldn't be terrible, especially just a stash. or trade bait. You've got someone like Jared Cook, and he's putting up consistent points, but you've got a better starter. There's not very many teams that have those tight ends that are putting up consistent points. Well, that's someone you can trade. Maybe you can upgrade a quarterback, maybe you can upgrade a receiver, and go ahead and secure your spot going into those fantasy playoffs.
Well, just like you picked Noah Fant a while ago, look at that division. They can't cover tight ends in that division. It's going to be great to see what Noah Fant and Jared Cook can do.
Right, I agree.
So, Polk, who's your last tight end?
My last tight end, Scott, you got to guess.
Wasn't who I thought it was a while ago, so let me see. Zach Ertz?
Zach Ertz. Zach Ertz doesn't have a team right now.
Oh, that's right. How about Gronk?
It is Gronk. It's the big Rob Gronkowski. Retired.
Tell me a little about Gronk. I know he had a good season last year. Super Bowl champs again. Tell me why should I get Gronk this year?
So Gronk right now, his ADP is 79, going in the 7th round, guys. 7th round tight end that put up 7th in TDs. His stats: 45 receptions, only 45 receptions, 623 yards. That's the same as some of the other tight ends we've named this episode, with half their reception, guys. 67 in yards. He's 7 TDs, tied 22nd, 13.8 yards per catch. So that's 29. Scott, bear with me.
Okay.
5 out of 10 years that Gronk's played, he's had more than 10 TDs.
It's really amazing because, Tom Brady there.
Guess who he's got this year throwing the football?
Oh, Tom Brady.
You are correct.
Oh, wow.
You win a seltzer beer.
All right. Not going to have it, but I'll give it to our special guest here in a minute.
Yep. We will bring him up. We've got a special guest that walked in the door just a few minutes ago, and we're going to ask him how his season went and if he's got anything to weigh in on this episode. But so back to Gronk. Only gotten better later in the season. He's learned the playbook. He knocked off some of the rust. He was retired. Everybody knows that. He came back. He's ready to play some football. It took him a few weeks, but man, once he got going, he started doing the same thing he's done in the past, catching TDs.
In our fantasy draft, our buddy Joe picked him up, and then he was like, Gronk was not doing anything for him. I believe he traded him and totally regretted trading him.
What actually happened, Scott, is he dropped Gronk.
Yeah, that's right. I'm sorry, he did drop Gronk.
He dropped Gronk. Gronk was picked up by another player, and I traded for him. Gronk really helped me in that playoff push. I needed a tight end. He was available. The other guy had Mark Andrews, who did really well last season. But Gronk was my filler. He definitely helped. He was definitely a guy that I could start and kind of took the place of the other guys I had on the roster. Back to that tight end, that TD thing. He was a 12 targeted player in the red zone in the entire NFL. That's better than half the other receivers in the NFL, half the other tight ends. Tom Brady loves to target Gronk in the red zone. 7 TDs is not enough. And that, to me, honestly, that's 7 TDs for half the season. Imagine what he does next season with a full season.
You want to know what's amazing? He can still separate from these guys. Like, I've seen a couple games where he's just like 2-3 yards separated from everybody, just wide open.
Yeah, because would you want to cover that guy?
No, hell no, I wouldn't want to cover that guy, man.
He's going to make you look stupid trying to bring him down.
Yeah, absolutely. And, he still knows how to break away from linebackers and safeties, man. And he just gets that separation, and there's no stopping Gronk when he gets going.
And the only thing you don't do is start him on defense, right?
No, never.
Go Miami. That Miami Miracle.
Yeah.
But, guys, what we're saying is Gronk's a great tight end. All these guys we named are great tight end options. These are guys that, like I said, if you don't get one of those top 3, these are guys that definitely consider over some of the other ones because we feel that they have the potential to step it up this next year. Like Scott was saying, some of their averages is 6 points a game. That's not glorious, but that's a touchdown. If you're losing by a touchdown, if their top receiver caught 2 touchdowns and you're losing by 6 points, these tight ends are going to get you that 6 points. These tight ends are going to get you in the ballpark to win the game. You're not getting 0 points, you're getting 6 points. Their average is 6 points. Some of these other tight ends, in the league, they're boom or bust. They go up or down. Tight ends are a hard thing to peg. These guys we just named, they're not going to be hard to peg. Their averages, like we said with Gronk, 17 TDs last season. That's after he retired, didn't know the system, and came back. And to me, honestly, only played half a season. This is a guy that I could definitely see it, getting into the double digits of touchdowns this next season.
Guys, don't be afraid to use them in a flex either. If you're midway to the season, your guys are, on a pitch on the 5 week, and all you have is your tight end, but this guy's scoring you 6 points, hey, don't be afraid to use them in the flex.
Yeah, in the same token, be afraid to use them in the flex.
Well, yes, be afraid, but if you don't have anybody, use them in the flex. It's either going to win you or it's going to break you.
This is that yin and yang. Scott's telling you one thing, and I'm going to tell you a completely different thing.
Yeah, well.
So, We talked about Tater. Tater is his legal name. He really loved mashed potatoes when he was younger. His mom started calling him Tater, and he had it legally changed. Tater has been a staple in the league for the last few years. Tater, have you ever gotten last in our league?
Actually, no. From the start of the league, no, I've actually have not had that burden yet.
You've been pretty close, though, right?
I'd say about third, fourth from the bottom. Considering your guys' football experience and kind of league I got into, and then not knowing a damn thing about what's going on, I kind of had that disadvantage, but still did not come in last. So, y'all remember that for this next year.
And that's what we're talking about. Tater's a guy that wasn't really into football. We kind of talked him into fantasy. All of us didn't play fantasy. We all play fantasy. We wanted him to be a part of it. And it's something that he's really loved and enjoyed doing. He looks forward to it every year. I think he does.
Well, as long as we don't have any more COVID protocols, yeah, I actually look forward to it every year.
Yeah,
and we'll talk about that later on.
Yeah, Tater got hit with Derrick Henry and the COVID bug last season. So, but that pretty much wraps everything up. Scott, I had a question. You talked about earlier in the episode that you were a big fan of Adam Gase. If you just wanted to elaborate on that a little bit.
Yeah, I hate the guy.
Hate him, huh?
Yeah, and I don't use it a lot, but I hate him. I think he's like the worst coach in history. There's pretty bad coaches, but this guy is. Like you said earlier, I don't understand why NFL teams want this guy. I can't stand him. He can't coach. Sometimes I wonder if he was like taking naps during the game. He was horrible. He made Miami look like the worst team in history.
Let's not talk about it. Let's not talk about what he did to my team, Miami.
Hey, I'm sorry, man. I had to bring it up. This guy's horrible.
Yeah, and that's what started it. Everybody likes Adam Gase because he was the Peyton Manning QB whisperer. Every team he's been on since then, he has really destroyed QB careers. Look at Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill did not look good in Miami. Leaves Adam Gase. He goes over there to Tennessee, and we talked about it last week. Ryan Tannehill's a viable starter in the NFL. He's done really well, top 10 quarterback. So it just shows that it wasn't him. And I think we're going to get the same thing out of Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold's had Adam Gase. He's moved on, and I think Matt Rule will definitely help it better than Adam Gase ever would.
Hey, Polk, real quick, and I forgot to mention this in the beginning of the podcast, and our news there. Guess who wants to coach again? And it's not Adam Gase.
Who are you talking about, Scott?
He feels like he can make a difference this time.
The Jets' old coach?
No, sir. It's Philly's old coach, Doug Peterson.
Now, I watched a little special talking about Doug Peterson, and they were talking about why they drafted Jalen Hurts, and it wasn't to replace Carson Wentz, but that seemed to be what happened.
Yeah. So he feels like he can make a team difference as a coach. Now, do you think he's going to get a head coach? I don't think he will be, but he might be a coach somewhere else.
I mean, he won a Super Bowl.
Well, yeah, he won a Super Bowl.
With Nick Foles.
Yeah. He didn't win it with his starting quarterback, but we talked about that in our last podcast.
Right. I didn't mind Doug Peterson. I didn't think he was a terrible coach. I don't know why he got fired. I've seen a lot worse coaches coach.
Hey, you know what? I think he did.
Adam Gase.
I think he did. I liked him as Philly because Philly didn't, do too well in the division. Made the Cowboys look good. But as Philly fans, they did get kind of screwed last year with that whole situation with Washington. It looked bad.
Yeah, it did. Hopefully the NFC East steps it up this year, and we don't look like the worst division in the league like we did last year.
Yeah, I really want to get back to this is so close. There's a three-way team fighting for the playoffs. I want to see that again.
Right on. Well, Scott, that pretty much wraps it up. You got any final thoughts?
Other than our next podcast, we're going to be talking about defense and kickers. That's right, kickers win games.
Defense and what, Scott?
Defense wins games.
Defense and what, Scott?
Kickers.
Yeah, not a lot of podcasts show kickers love. We show kickers love. Kickers get those points. They have won games for me. Sure, it's prettier if you have an extra QB. If you're running a 2 QB league and the guy's scoring, 40 points, yeah, it's definitely a lot prettier. But what if you win by that 50-yard field goal? It's better. I can call Tater up and I say my kicker just beat the living out of your team. And it's worse. It's demoralizing. My kicker beat his team. That's demoralizing. He's going to go home and think about why he's playing fantasy football. It's good. Tater, you got any comments on that?
Yeah, honestly, I get more excited when I get the occasional 50, 55-yard field goal, that wins by 2 points right at the last couple seconds of the game. You can't tell me that Philly, a couple years ago, when he hit that 63-yard field goal to win the game, that didn't make some people excited at the same time.
That's right. Kickers keep you on the edge of the seat. Yeah, the quarterback's going to score 40 points, but you know you won.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when your kicker is the last player on your team and you're sweating because you're down by 3 points, this guy winds up getting 4 extra points to win you the game. Hey,
and that's when it gets fun because you're like, go down, make it 4th and short. Put the kicker on the field, boot it, and then they go for it. They don't get it. You're like, I told you to kick the ball. It makes it fun. That's why we like kickers. They're fun, especially if you had it statted out right. 50 points, 50 yarders, 5 points. Every additional 5 yards after that's an additional point. It really makes people think and go grab those big leg kickers or less accurate. But it's fun. It's an added depth. I really I've always enjoyed kickers. We talked about getting rid of them. I mean, I don't know if it's something I'd ever want to do.
No, man, I don't want to do that early. There's no reason for it. But I do have a question for Tater.
Oh, here he goes.
Hey, we just did our picks for our draft here. What did you get, buddy?
Well, okay, so this year I ended up getting 9th in the draft. And really, that's going to put kind of a hindrance on who I'm going to initially choose off the bat. Because, we got so many rookies that came into the league that could be potential star breakers. We got, so many trades, so many drops, so many choices. Being 9th, I don't know, man. I'm just going to have to see how everything falls. But I got my couple people I'm looking at.
Tater, you're not going to give our fans, your secret pick at 9th this year?
I know Trevor Lawrence is going to go 9th round anyway, so I'm just going to go ahead and wait for that. So.
What about 9th overall?
9th overall? I don't know, man.
You think Kamara's going to fall to you?
No, actually I don't. I think Kamara's going to go 6th round, to be honest with you. Probably 5th or 6th.
Or 6th pick, yeah.
Yeah, excuse me, 6th pick. No, I keep
What
saying
about Nick Chubb?
See, now Chubb is another one I like to eyeball. I picked up Chubb a couple years ago, and man, the guy was phenomenal. And really, I'm really surprised at Cleveland. That's a team that a couple years ago I never thought that I would actually watch an entire season of Cleveland games. Who would actually watch Cleveland? I had Jarvis Landry back at the time.
Don't watch Cleveland games.
Yeah, right. I mean, they don't even want to watch their own stuff. So, but I had Jarvis Landry back then.
I watched Cleveland. I watched Baker Mayfield's commercials. I think that's pretty awesome.
No, I do like the commercials. For this year, that's another one that I'm kind of looking at, to be honest with you. They proved a little bit that they have potential. Now, this year for sure, I think this is their make or break moment.
Taylor, you're right about that, man. I think Cleveland, they are looking good. They should have a little better season there. So
Vegas has got them slotted to win that division.
Yeah, but I agree. That all depends if Big Ben is going to get hurt this year or not. This is Big Ben's last year. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yep, another year removed for that Tommy John surgery, so maybe he can come into fruition, do something.
We'll see. Oh, you got anything? You got the last word?
Nope, that's been it. That's another episode of Punt Situation, guys. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram. Listen to us on Spotify. We're on iHeart. We're on Amazon. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Deezer. Follow us, like us. If you love the show, tell a friend. Let them know to listen to us. Hopefully we're helping you become better fantasy football players. If we're not, let me know. Let me know what we need to do.
Hey, guys. Don't forget, we're also on Twitter. Please,
Scott, we're on Twitter.
Yeah, we're on Twitter.
Twitter. All right, we're on Twitter.
We're on Twitter. And so if you got comments, you got anything, you like what we have, don't like what you hear, let us know. We do want some feedbacks, and we definitely want to talk to you guys any way possible.
Yeah, and like I said, if you like the show, tell a friend. If you don't like the show, let us know on Twitter, and don't tell anybody about it. Guys, we're going to talk about defensive kickers next week. Scott's already addressed that. We look forward to listening, and any comments, anything you have, follow us, Punt Situation. You can find us on every platform. You guys, have a great night.
You too.
Guys, if you have anything that you want us, that Scott and Polk and I need to talk about, please leave a comment on subscribe on the Camera Star Show. Also subscribe on their Punt Situations, and also get on their Twitter page. And they discussed it already. And also get on our Twitter page. My own Twitter page is Cameron Savoy, at Cameron.Savoy. And also, if you want to listen to more episodes, just listen to the show. Listen to our part of the show on episodes that y'all missed during last year's fantasy football season. Just to subscribe or leave a comment on YouTube. Yes, we're on YouTube also. So, guys, thank you guys for listening. Also, please support this show. Also support their show as well on Punt Situations. Thank you, and God bless y'all, and have a great day.